There's this thing that Spotify does at the end of each and every year.
Yes.
Where like you have a top song,
Yes.
top artist. The song that was the top song for me was your song. Can you take a guess? From a 2019 album.
Mkhulumsebenzi.
Mkhulumsebenzi. I absolutely love that song.
Sure.
I play that song on repeat, especially if I'm driving long distance. I remember that the year I was driving to Cape Town.
Yeah.
That song was on repeat.
Sure.
I love that song. Love it. Talk to me about that song. How did it come about? Because this is just for my own indulgence.
Yeah. 2019, truth be told, I was going through a divorce, and I was in a mess. Like my life was a wreck. I think I had a situational depression, and I was struggling. I was struggling a lot. Alcohol abuse, and I was stuck. I just felt like I'm stuck, and I'm at war with myself. I'm struggling to be creative, and I'm struggling to do what I know I can do. And I just had a baby that year. And so, there's bittersweet moments that are happening in my life. And I think that one day I was about to travel, and I just kept on like humming this and usually for me, when my creative process is that the vowel sounds and the consonant sounds in my mouth are almost usually linked to the lyrics. So I'm like, that's like saying, so usually that's how I'm creative. I hear the sound of tonal that is linked to that thing, And that song came, and nothing about my life then was saying Mkhulumsebenzi. It was just a prophetic thing. It was saying, I'm going to speak what I don't see. I'm going to say what no one else is saying. And I'm going to believe for it. And trust God that Mkhulumsebenzi wenza. It was just prophetic because there was nothing big. I was just down and out. I felt like my life is over and the whole world was on my shoulders. Every time I switched on social media, I realized how many people hated me. And I think, it was the worst time. But out of that dark place came possibly one of the biggest songs I've ever written.
And why is that important, Khaya? Why is it important, ukuthi uma ngabe you are going through difficult period in your life, ukuthi ukhumbule ukuthi Mkhulumsebenzi?
I think it's not so much ukhumbula more than it is ukuzi-affirma.
Okay.
Because sometimes ukhumbuli. You know what I mean? You have to force yourself. You know what I mean? Like you have to tell yourself what you don't feel. You know what I mean? Like you have to, you almost have to preach to yourself because you're so disconnected from other people. You're so disconnected from positivity. You've been in the aim for such a long time and you just can't see the light. You know what I mean? And I think preaching to yourself or speaking positively and affirming yourself, I remember I had a conversation with Baba when I was going through all that stuff, and my dad said, you're going to have to make a choice. Go to Zoboban after this. Choose marriage. Don't choose Swedzi Ingomo Ongaitandi. Make a choice now and start trying to look towards a choice that you've made. You know what I mean? And I think that on the flight, guys, when I wrote, I still have the voice note on my phone. You can hear Mkhulumsebenzi flight. Like I'm 30,000 feet above sea. When I walked onto that flight, before I wrote that actual chorus, the flight attendant, Nangselanzira Airport, Kulula flight, I'll never forget it. She said to me, that's the question that she asked me. I remember I just put on I'm always it's either I have a cap or a hoodie. So I had my hoodie, I put on a hoodie. and we took off.
Mm.
And again, this melody came back. And then I just started saying, yeah, and I just grabbed my phone and I screamed it like on my voice notes. And again, that horrible thing that that girl asked me that she didn't even know why I'm making the decision I'm making pushed me and drove me to a creative place that I didn't think I would. Yeah.
What is it about that question that triggered that emotion?
I was actually telling my therapist yesterday that when people undermine me and people misunderstand me or disrespect me, I don't have it just drives me to now I'm gonna show you who I am. It digs something inside of me, Eti. Khaya, you have no other choice now but to be successful. You have to show these people that they were wrong. There's something about easy main jalo that drive me towards my purpose and drive me towards focus, that drive me towards Khaya, you this cannot be the last thing that people know about you.
Just last question from me on this, and then we're going to move on to radio. And there's also still has a follow-up question. To an extent, Nyambo said that you can speak to us, and I mean, I'm well aware as well, Uguti Sinundodanala. So, so absolutely what you can and cannot tell. I mean, it's up to you what you can tell us. You mentioned, Uguti, in 2019 you were going through a divorce at the time. How was that period for you, and have you healed?
It was rough. I think that is the most painful thing I've ever gone through in my life. I don't wish divorce on anyone. In actual fact, I'll never divorce again. It's the most painful thing I've ever gone through. I cannot describe to you how you question everything about yourself, how you have to rebuild yourself, rebuild your confidence, rebuild your perspective on love, rebuild your perspective on family, children, etc. And I think, Uguchi, it's been a huge journey of healing for me. Have I healed from it? I think that I have. Because I'm very structured, you know what I mean? Like I'm a black man that goes to therapy. You know what I mean? Like I do it and I'm proud of it. You know, and apart from systems like that I've put in place, I don't think I would have recovered in the way that I've recovered. I love love. I want to get married again. I don't want to grow old alone. I'm not interested in being single and being in the streets. I've got zero aspirations for those things. I think family, I think singleness is overrated, and I think that structure, family, children, one wife, is something that is going to it's becoming a bit of a taboo, and it's wrong how there's so much negativity. And I think I want to play to the narrative of being a light even in that, to say that even when you've come from indawo enjenge divorce, you can still recover, you can still gain back your life, you can still fall in love again, you can still have more children, you can still be structured. Because I don't know why people hate on the institution, and I understand the institution is under attack, but it's people that are problem, not the institution. If mina correct timing it's the institution ngeke ibe right, and if singaphili ngokuhloniphana, of course institution ngeke ibe right, but the people need to be healthy in the marriage.
Sure.
Esishadayo fayise babantu abaready ukuyenza leso sinqumo, that are gonna honor our covenant with God and respect one another, and so that we can build families from there.
Sure.
Yeah. Let's